immediately after the verdict was reached in Donald Trump's case, and 34 felony charges were ruled that he was guilty of. 34 felony counts he's guilty of. Former President of the United States of America. A lot of people, well, I jumped on a live stream, did like an hour live stream, and a lot of people were asking this specific question that I want to get to. Two questions, actually. One is, now that he's a felon, can he vote? We're going to answer that. And then the other question is, what are the chances he's actually going to go to jail? I've heard a lot of pundits say that it's probably not going to be jail. It's going to be some kind of a fine. It's going to be probation, whether supervised or unsupervised. And that didn't ring with me. It didn't seem logical or reasonable that that would be the possibility for Donald Trump with 34 felony convictions on his record. And we're going to deal with that too. But first, let's talk about the voting thing. See, how it works is, and I'm going to read from PolitiFact here, but I summed it up yesterday in the live stream saying this, that Florida abides by wherever the conviction took place. So if the law in New York said no voting because he's a felon, they would abide by that. If they said yes voting, even prisoners can vote, great, Florida would abide by that. So the fact that the law in the state of New York is, if you're incarcerated, you cannot vote. But if your sentence is fulfilled and you're a felon, you can vote. So that's the answer. And here's how it's explained by PolitiFact. Trump is a registered voter in Palm Beach County, Florida. The Florida Department of State website says that a felony conviction in another state makes a person ineligible to vote in Florida only if the conviction would make the person ineligible to vote in the state where the person was convicted. A far more succinct and possibly intelligent way to say it than I just summed it up. And then they say, New York passed a law in 2021 that restores voting rights for people convicted of felonies upon their release from prison. Voters don't lose their right to vote unless they are in prison serving a sentence for a felony conviction. People whose prison sentences are stayed pending appeal do not lose their voting rights. So it's unlikely that before this election, Donald Trump will lose his right to vote because of the fact that they're going to appeal, and the sentence will be withheld or suspended until the appeal process is over with. That's likely. But also let me say this. If you're someone like me who believes felons should be able to have the right to vote, that there's no rational, reasonable explanation other than that's the way it's always been done, if you agree with me, then Donald Trump should be able to vote. Where it comes a little bit squirrely is that the Republicans don't want felons to vote. So it kind of kinks their whole jam when you look at it like that. As far as him going to jail, let's not rely upon my expertise because I have little in this particular matter. Let's go to Norm Eisen, who is absolutely an expert in both ethics and law. And he said this on CNN, and it's very illuminating and also heartwarming. I keep using that term today. It buoys my ability to have faith in our system that he just might face some prison time.
I strongly agree with that timeline. I strongly disagree. As Ryan knows, we spent countless hours. He edited me, putting me to the task. Aaron, he made me look at 10,000 New York falsifying business records cases. And here's what I discovered.
And that is why he is who he is.
We love him.
That's right.
And here's what I discovered.
Yes.
That in the most serious FBR cases, a sentence of imprisonment is routinely imposed. This is the most serious falsifying business records case in the history of the state of New York. I think Alvin Bragg is going to ask for a sentence of incarceration, and I think Judge Merchan will very seriously weigh that.
So the special treatment, you're saying, would be if he were not given a prison sentence.
Right. And I think Judge Merchan will look at the case. We've debated this for years. Alvin Bragg put on an election interference case. I noted the words of Trump's team that this is an election interference case. Exactly. That's what 12 Americans just found, that Donald Trump engaged in a conspiracy to interfere with the 2016 election and covered it up. That's how you get a felony, the underlying conspiracy. That is as serious a crime, tampering with American democracy, as you can have. And the judge knows that. So I think serious risk of jail sentence, not serving.
Now, look, directly after the verdict, before or after it was just after the live stream, Brittany Page and I recorded episode 916 of I Doubt It podcast. And I think it was on the podcast. Everything bleeds together, so maybe it was just a private conversation between me and Brittany. But I talked about how I feel about this, that if Donald Trump, he went through 10,000 cases and the vast majority of the cases didn't result in jail, then that's what Donald Trump should get. He should get justice just like everyone else. It should be dispassionate. It should be without fear or favor. It should be based on what everybody else gets. He should be treated not like Donald Trump, the guy everybody hates. He should be treated like everybody else who's been convicted of this crime. And so Norm Eisen saying he's gone through 10,000 cases of falsifying business records, and the vast majority of the most serious cases, or the most serious cases, resulted in jail. He should get jail. We shouldn't want extra punishment piled upon him because we don't like the guy. That would be antithetical to our view about justice in America. But because it's the norm, it's the regular, it would be wrong to go easy on him because he's Donald Trump, because people hate him. That would be injustice. And we seek justice in this case. Consequence, yes. Accountability, yes. But justice, overarching over everything else, is what we should be looking for. I'd love your opinion on this. You can call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. If you'd like to help me make these videos, help me produce these videos, you can take a part, $2 a month. Click the join button below, become a channel member. You can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. That goes a long way, $2 there. Helps us make this content, create the podcast, YouTube videos, all of it. It's all one common pot, and you could help us produce what we do. I love and appreciate you. I'd love to see you on social media. I'm at Dollemore everywhere, and I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.